Today we're looking at Ripple XRP. Let's start by looking at the weekly chart, and you'll see last week we climbed about 65%, which was the best week we've had since the beginning of April. The important thing that took place last week is that we took out for some levels of great importance. One, we broke out from this resistance that was established by the neckline of its head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders pattern. And also I'll show in the daily chart the 200-day moving average. We eclipsed the psychologically important $1 as well as a 38.2% Fibonacci retracement of this decline, and even rose to the 50% retracement. So we accomplished a lot in terms of technical milestones last week. And one of the things that stands out is, yes, we did reach an overbought condition, but there's absolutely there's no bearish momentum divergence on the charts that suggests that we're in any trouble at this point. Also, what happens with this large move last week is it's put us above well-established price congestion, which can be support for now. And that includes all this area here from late May into early June, also corresponds with this late April area. So as long as the XRP or Ripple can stay above $1, this move should be just beginning, and Ripple investors can entertain, the possibilities of going past 196, which was the high we saw back in April, and possibly onto the all-time high, which I believe is around 330. So as long as $1 holds, I think everything is in place for a continuation of the rally. There's not really much resistance here outside of the 61.8% retracement until you get to the 78.6. That is where you're going to find some heavy resistance as it corresponds to highs going back into early May and then into mid-May. So 1.65 is going to be an area of resistance for Ripple moving forward. Other than that, it should be free, and as long as it holds $1, it should be safe. The uptrend will be safe.
Yeah, but it does look a little bit overbought right now, no?
Yeah, overbought conditions are.
Yeah, I see.
You can extend, for long period. In fact, that's what you want overbought conditions that are continually being bought. It's a sign of power rather than a concern. When you start getting momentum divergences, then there's some concern with that. So, and that isn't the case right now.
Yeah, it's interesting that also if you look at this chart that you have right here, I mean, an upswing to the 165 level that you have been talking about, and then kind of like a correction will kind of like form a head and shoulders pattern right there, no? With
could.
Yeah, it could, right? Yeah, that's kind of like interesting to see, because then that basically gives you a potential target is basically another $1. Yeah, that's like 265 or almost $3 for these head and shoulders if it were to form, right, with a potential correction after hitting 165 to the $1 support level, and then from there jumping back up. But yeah, that's quite interesting. Once again, I mean, you guys are leaning bullish. It seems like throughout the whole complex, but I'm leaning a little bit bearish again. The reason of my bearish perspective is, once again, the TD sequential giving me a sell signal on the 3-day chart. It is worth noting that usually when the TD sequential indicator gives a sell signal after breaking through this kind of like dotted line, right? It's called the setup trend line. Every time kind of like the asset breaks above the setup trend line and then the sell signal comes, that the power of that sell signal kind of like diminishes, right? So we'll have to see whether kind of like Ripple breaks below $1. If it breaks below $1, then there is potential for that sell signal to be validated. But if it doesn't, then Ripple could continue rising, right? Just like Sheldon said, towards 165 before potentially pulling back or anything like that. Yeah, now in terms of an on-chain perspective, right? Um, I am seeing, I mean, like, you know, holders that bought, or actually addresses that bought XRP within the last 30 days, right, are currently sitting at 42% profits, which is like just a massive amount of profits, right? And usually, whenever these addresses kind of like surpass such a major threshold, they tend to kind of like book profits, right? And they start like, kind of like exiting their positions, right? Which eventually creates a spike in selling pressure that pushes prices down, right? Before everything kind of like can kind of like reset, right? And that's what I'm seeing right now. I mean, there's a bunch of addresses right now that bought XRP within the last 30 days that are sitting in profit, and they are yet to realize profits. Kind of like the same thing happens with those addresses that bought XRP within the past year, within the past 365 days, right? They're sitting at, wow, that's crazy, at 73% profits, right? So that's something quite interesting to see. Another major development that kind of like supports, actually invalidates my bearish view and kind of like adds credence to Sheldon's bullish view, right? Is that unlike what we saw in Bitcoin and Ethereum, right, where kind of like daily active addresses for Bitcoin basically today made a higher high. For Ethereum, it continues making a series of lower highs. Well, for XRP, there has been an upward trend in the number of daily active addresses on the network, right? The same thing is going on with volume. Volume has been on-chain volume has been increasing while prices have been rising as well, right? What this tells you is that XRP's uptrend is quite strong from an on-chain perspective, right? And it could potentially lead to further upside. When I look at the social volume, it also seems like, I mean, of course, there is a lot of talk about about XRP as usual, right, on social media, but we haven't gotten to critical levels yet where people are actually FOMOing into this cryptocurrency, right? So it does seem from an on-chain perspective that kind of like XRP has a little bit more room to go up. I believe that I was like looking at this metric, right? And as you guys can see, all of the whales holding 10 million to or more coins, basically, right? They have been kind of like increasing their positions, right, during this uptrend, which also validates kind of like the bullish perspective that Sheldon was talking about for XRP, right? So I mean, from an on-chain perspective, it does seem that XRP looks quite strong for a further continuation of the uptrend, right? With kind of like wells buying the tokens, the daily active addresses rising alongside prices, the on-chain volume rises alongside prices, right? Kind of like the social volume, it doesn't seem like people are FOMO into XRP yet, which is a good sign. The only thing from an on-chain perspective that kind of like throws me off a little bit, right, is that basically those addresses that bought XRP within the last 30 days sit at 42% profits, right? While those who bought XRP within the last 365 days, right, sit at 73% profit in average, right? That means that these addresses are right now a little bit more inclined to sell, right, to book some of the profits that they have kind of like incurred during all of this time, which could potentially lead to a correction, right? That's the only thing that is kind of like validated this sell signal that the TD sequential indicator is kind of like presenting here. But I do believe that a decisive close above 124 and potentially 140 will kind of like invalidate this sell signal that we're getting here, and we could potentially get a little bit more upside as almost all the on-chain metrics are leaning a little bit bullish for XRP. So yeah, I believe that the next few days are kind of like quite important for the XRP army, as XRP could kind of like um, kind of like leave the pack behind and start rising again as the wells continue buying, right? The daily active addresses are kind of like going up as well, and as well as the on-chain volume is also going up. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for XRP. What about you, Akash? What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I'm a little bullish on XRP as compared to other coins. And let me just show you why. Right, so XRP, it's a weird coin where it acts dead for a lot of time and then suddenly like goes on an exponential upswings, right? As you can see here, all the way down here. So this is like a trend that happens on XRP, and right now I'm looking at this ascending parallel channel, and so far I think it's been holding up pretty good. We started facing reject. So I had three main levels that I was looking at: the 1.09 level, the 0.77 level, 1.09, the 1.7, and then finally the all-time high, which kind of coincides with the upper trend line of the ascending parallel channel. Right, during the recent run-up, I honestly didn't expect it to clear the second hurdle so quickly, but it just did that exponentially. And now I'm pretty sure it's going to retest the second resistance level here, which comes around 1.09. And if that fails, and if Bitcoin starts moving to 41, 42K, then I'm expecting a retest of the 0.96 level. Either way, I'm looking at a bounce at the 1.09 or the 0.96 level. And I'm looking at a 55% upswing to the third level here, which comes around 1.7. Like from a short-term time frame perspective, this will pose a massive threat, like a resistance level over here. Anything beyond this, I think it's like a free resistance free path up to the all-time high, which comes around 3.31, right? But for now, from a short to mid-term time frame, it's like a 55% upswing for XRP.
Wow, so that correction that you kind of like drew in there, are you expecting that to happen, or do you believe that that has already been completed?
No, I think it still hasn't happened yet. If you look, it hasn't tested the level yet. So yeah, and it needs to happen. It hasn't happened yet.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
somewhere around,
So
so this consolidation here kind of comes around the 50% fib of this extension here. Yeah, so this comes around my sweet spot, which is, yep. So yeah, I think this retracement to the 0.96 level, or even like close, I think it's very close to the $1 level, right? So 62 fib here would be amazing. That would make me kind of go long here. Right. Under certain circumstances, we could form a double bottom here again. Those have been pretty significant, like
yeah.
this. So we could see something like this from down here and then go higher, right? Which from a line chart perspective, it comes exactly at the 75th, which is 0.944. But this seems really plausible. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So yeah.
Okay, okay. So what I kind of like get from this, right, is that basically all of us, right, Sheldon, Akash, and myself we're all putting a lot of significance to the $1 support level, right? Basically, any retracement will kind of like be held. We believe that it could be held by that support level right there, right? I mean, it can extend from $1, of course, to like 98, 96 cents. I mean, the idea is that always the market makers are gonna kind of like take you out of your stop losses, right? But that $1 level zone could potentially hold for XRP to continue rising, right? I mean, from an on-chain perspective, it does seem that XRP has what it needs to continue going up, right? As wells continue accumulating, The daily active addresses are going up, and the volume, the on-chain volume is increasing. The only point of concern from an on-chain perspective is that those people that, or addresses that acquire XRP within the past 30 days and within the past 365 days are sitting at basically 40% and 73% profits respectively, right? So, I mean, what that indicates is that a spike in profit taking is coming soon, but maybe there is a chance that sell-off could be contained by the $1 support level, and XRP could potentially rebound from that $1 level zone towards the 165, 170 level before we get another potential correction or basically just a continuation of the uptrend. But quite insightful what we're seeing right here for XRP. I mean, XRP has completely weathered the storm, right? I mean, it went through the worst it could have gone through, which is basically a lawsuit by the Security and Exchange Commission. Based on how they have been dragging this lawsuit, it does seem that XRP could potentially, exit or come out of that lawsuit only with a slap in the hands, which could bring the XRP army back in full, FOMO mode, and potentially just push this cryptocurrency further up. But based on the pattern that kind of like Akash is evaluating here, which is a parallel channel, the target that he has for XRP is basically a retest of the previous all-time highs around $3.30. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens in here with XRP. And of course, right, if you want to, get updated on what's going to happen with XRP and the rest of the cryptocurrency, or the cryptocurrencies in the market, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and stay tuned for the next updates that are going to be coming out on Friday.